Thank you, Tom, for that nice introduction. I want to turn this just a little bit so I can talk to the seniors, the graduates, or about to be graduates. After Tom asked me to make this talk, I asked Mrs. Roth, my daughter who's teaching here, what I should talk about. And she said to me, "Doesn't make any difference, but be short." And I listened to her. As I was walking in today and I passed her, she said, "Remember what I said." Winston Churchill, in his latter years after leading Great Britain through the Second World War, was asked to give a graduation speech. After a lavish introduction, which took about 8 minutes, he slowly made his way to the podium. He paused for a few seconds, then said, "Never give up," and sat down. End of speech. Mine won't be that profound nor that short. I'd like to ask all the seniors about to be graduates to please stand for a second. Now, turn towards your parents and give them a big hand and a cheer of thanks for all they've done for you. Not too long. Cammie said it ought to be short. Okay, you can sit down. Thank you. That's thanks for the 1, 2, 3, or 4 years of love, help, and support, both financially and from heart and mind, for the times driving, for the watching all the events, and at times worrying about all you characters. You know what I'm going to speak about today? The next 4 years. They're going to do it again. I want to talk to you about your college years. Let me start with a baseball story. I got to do that. In 1935, the Detroit Tigers were in the World Series. I had to say that too. They had two ball players, opposite in temperament, mindset, and ability. Goose Goslin, big, slow of foot, powerful hitter, who's now in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, played consistently, step by step. Oh, their steps were pretty slow, and knew what he was doing when he played. The second one was Pete Fox. Hustled all the time. He played third base, ran everywhere, did everything. He was always at full speed. Sometimes his coaches didn't know what direction he was going in, however. In a critical game leading up to the 1935 World Series, Goose was on first base. Hustling Pete was the next batter. Pete hit a line drive out over second base, up against the wall in right field. The ball came off. Goose plodded down to second, rounded second, and made his way to third. Stood on third. Pete Fox, naturally, going full speed, head down, rounded first, rounded second in full stride, and made a perfect head-first slide into third base. Goose looked down at him and said, "Pete, where the hell are you going?" He was up and running and said, "Back to second if I can make it." Educationally, you've reached second base. Okay, don't be in a hurry to get to third. Okay, it is a time to learn, to add new skills, to broaden your views, to find new things, to grow, and to become much more curious. I want to talk for a couple of minutes about two students that I taught and coached here at Canterbury in the 1960s. The first was Tom Garrity, class of 1964 at Canterbury and 68 at Amherst. He was a very bright, happy, forward-looking, great athlete, and like Goose, knew where he was going from the day he left Canterbury. After graduating from Amherst with honors, he went on to Yale to get his doctorate in philosophy and his law degree, and then became the 17th president of Amherst College. In his inaugural speech at Amherst was entitled, "The Best Teacher I Ever Had." His whole speech was about Rod Clark, who you've already heard about, as there is an award in his honor. Tom's history teacher here at Canterbury. Mr. Clark was a graduate of the class of '64 and preceded Mr. Sheehy as headmaster. Tom Garrity knew where he was going, what he wanted to do. He always wanted to be a teacher. He knew it the day he graduated from Canterbury. He took himself through Amherst doing exactly what he wanted to do. That was Tom. Keep an open mind when you go to college. Let me tell you about a second student who graduated from Canterbury in 1969 and then went on to Williams College. He and I arrived at Williams the same time. I working there and he as a freshman. Bill Murphy was the class of 1969 here at Canterbury and 73 at Williams. We both ended up at Williams the same year. I also happened to be Williams' freshman faculty advisor. Bill was like Pete Fox, full of energy, full speed ahead, loved sports, and probably the best athlete in his class at Williams. When I met with him, I said to him, as his advisor, "What are you going to do this year?" And he said, "Play football, basketball, and track." I said, no, I mean academically. He said, and when we looked at his program for the year, it looked like his senior year here at Canterbury. History, math, language, and English. I tried to talk him into taking some other courses, like art, music, philosophy, sciences, anything. He said, no. He said, "I want to do what I did at Canterbury. I did very well, and I don't want anything to get in the way of my sports." Freshman year, Bill starred in all his sports, particularly football and track, but not so academically. As a matter of fact, he passed, but not by very much. When we met at the end of the year to choose courses for his sophomore year, Bill needed a science course to fulfill a requirement. He didn't know what to take. We looked at all the sciences. He went and talked to some professors, and he came back and said, "I'd like to major in geology. I'd like to take geology," which he turned out to major in. He also took physics, oceanography, and astronomy, and Bill became a straight A student. In his junior year, he quit his sports, he traveled, he got excited about geology and astronomy, went on to Stanford to receive his PhD in geophysics, which became his life's work. He was really fired up about his academics at Williams at that time. And I talked to him the other day, and he still is, about everything he does. Many of you seniors are probably like Bill, not quite sure where you're going. Don't be afraid to change directions, even in your junior year. But don't wait. Look at courses very carefully for your freshman year. Talk to your teachers. Talk to your advisor. Talk to your parents. Talk to your teachers here at Canterbury. Choose wisely, something academically that you can really get excited about. Now, to finish up, let me give you my top 6 considerations to make your college career fulfilling and successful. When I started doing this, I put 30 down, but if I go through all 30 of them, Mrs. Roth will be up here yanking me off the stage. Number 6, take a class your freshman year for pure interest. Maybe even out of your comfort zone. Not leading to anything, but maybe leading to a lot of things. Number 5, take a foreign language or continue your languages as you started here at Canterbury. Or take a new language, German, Russian, Mandarin if you haven't taken it here, or other. It will be important in your future and fun in your later years, particularly when you travel. Experience a semester abroad. If your college offers it, the world is now open to you. You future leaders, no matter what you do, will have to know about and experience the world. Do something outside yourself. Father talked about that at Mass today. But do something outside yourself. Work in the community, tutor in the local grade school or high school, be a class officer, do admissions work, but get involved. Number 2, put down the cell phone, the iPads, the iPods, the TVs, and have good bull sessions with your friends on important topics like the world, politics, religion, the future, and most important, information in your class. And make sure your friends are not always just like you and don't think just like you. People of different views will expand your horizons even if you don't agree. Now, most important, it's the only advice I gave my children as they headed off to college. Your mothers will thank me for this. Get up every morning and have a good breakfast before class. Everything else will fall into place. In college, you have 4 great years to learn, to expand your horizons, to see outside yourself, and to learn about the world. Your college is the best place to do that. After college, when you start working, you will not get the same chance or have the same time. Use your college for all it's worth. Then come back to Canterbury as a teacher, an administrator, a trustee, or a friend of the school. You will miss it, believe it or not, and your teachers will miss you. 10 years after you're out of college, you will think about your education. You will say, Canterbury was the most important education, but college was my most broadening. I love them both. Cam and the rest of your classmates, congratulations on your success here at Canterbury. Good luck in your next 4 years. And remember, never give up.